Hello, welcome to the weekly economic snapshot. Remote work continues to be a somewhat controversial topic. Though it has its downsides, people really value not having to commute. But does having more people work from home reduce traffic and lower commute times for those who are traveling to their workplaces? One measure of the extent of remote work is the share of people who report that they usually work from home. This is probably an underestimate, since many people who have hybrid work arrangements would report that they usually drive to work, even if they're working at home 1 or 2 days a week. This data is from the Census American Community Survey, which is one of many things disrupted by the pandemic, with no data reported for 2020. That's why there's a gap in the graph. We can see that even prior to the pandemic, more people usually worked from home in the Pikes Peak region than nationwide, and remote work was on a slightly upward trend before 2020. It was, as we know, much higher in 2021 than in 2019, and it has come down considerably since then, but it is still above its pre-pandemic level. Average commuting times, measured in minutes, were on a rising trend prior to the pandemic, both here and nationwide. Our commuting times were shorter, but they were rising at a slightly faster rate. It is also worth noting that the unemployment rate was pretty high in the years shown at the beginning of this graph, which would have meant fewer cars on the road at rush hour. After the pandemic, with so many more people working from home, commute times dropped considerably, but they have risen since 2021. Nationwide, the average commute time in 2024 was still slightly below what it was in 2019. Our local commute times were just a smidge higher than prior to the pandemic. If we look across the nation's metropolitan statistical areas, we do see that the ones that had the biggest increases in rates of working from home since 2019 have also tended to have the largest reductions in commuting times. The relationship isn't a very strong one, but it is statistically significant. For every additional 1 percentage point increase in the share working from home, average commute times in a metro area decreased by about 4 seconds. If we control for population change, the effect increases to 5 seconds. Thanks for watching. This is our last video of 2025, so we'll see you next year.